Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking about some Blu-rays today because a lot of people have been asking me to delve a bit deeper into my personal collection here in the back. One particular viewer, Anthony Patterson, he requested that I talk about some of my indicator titles that are in my collection. So that's what I'm going to do today. But before I get into that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching my videos lately since I've come back to YouTube. I'm doing a podcast with my father called My Dad versus World Cinema. And, you know, we've had a surprisingly great reception for that. I wasn't expecting that at all because it's basically just us two rambling in front of a microphone and a camera. But no, it's been good and people have been liking it. So I'm pleased with that. But I want to resume normal service. I want to get back to talking about Blu-rays and what I'm collecting as well. So yeah, I'm answering Anthony's question about talking about my top films that I own from Indicator. Now, I'm not going to particularly do like a top 5 or anything. I don't want to commit to that because my thoughts about films are always changing. And anyone who makes film lists knows that, you know, committing to a list and putting things in a ranking order is very stressful. Like, it stresses me out, and I think I'm losing my hair over making lists on Letterboxd, so I need to stop doing that. So we're going to talk about some Indicator films that I love, and not in any particular order. If you're new to Indicator, if you don't have a clue what Indicator is, it's a Blu-ray label based here in the UK, and they put out films from the US and the UK that I would say they might not be the most famous films that you've ever heard of. To be honest, a lot of the films they release I haven't initially heard of, but they give them the best treatment you could give a film. Like, they get the best presentation, so you get the best picture quality and sound quality, you get really nice packaging, and you get a load of special features, you get a booklet, and it's just an all-around great package for a film. And what it's led me to is buying a lot of these, what they call so-called blind buys, where I know nothing about the film, but because I trust Indicator, I just go ahead and just buy it. And I don't think I've been disappointed yet at all. Sure, there are some films that don't hit me, you know, they're not instant favourites, but if I expected every film I watched to become an instant favourite, that would get quite tedious very quickly. So yeah, I've picked 5 films that Indicator have released on Blu-ray, and I hope you enjoy these because I think these are films that are worth talking about, which maybe don't get the attention of films that are in the Criterion collection, for example, because Criterion is known worldwide and they're much bigger than Indicator, but Indicator give films the attention that Criterion give to their films as well. So they're well worth talking about. So I'm going to get into the first one now. Gosh, which one am I going to pick first? Okay, I'm going to go for one. This was actually one of the first Indicator titles I ever bought. Now, a few years ago, I made a YouTube channel about Indicator being awesome or something like that. And that was when I just picked up my first few Indicator titles, and this was one of them. This is Body Double by Brian De Palma. I don't know if you can make that out on the camera. Yeah, Body Double. Now, if you've ever seen a Brian De Palma film, you know that he makes thrillers, sometimes verging on horror as well. You know, particularly with films like Carrie. I mean, that is a horror film. But, you know, he makes a lot of thrillers, very much inspired by Hitchcock or in the vein of Dario Argento or someone like that. And Body Double is basically one big tribute to Hitchcock. It's a cross between Vertigo and Rear Window. If I had to put it like that, that's what it is. But it's very sleazy as well. Lots of kind of very pervy shots, not in a bad way, not in a bad filmmaking way, but it really puts you in the eyes of someone who's trying to stalk women and watch them naked through windows, which I can relate to. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, it's a great film. Lots of scenes that like stick out in my mind where there's a scene with a drill. I'll say no more, but that's a very entertaining scene. The music is great as well by Pino DiMaggio. It stars, what's the guy called? Craig Wasson. Craig Wasson, he looks just like Bill Maher. Bill Maher, the American comedian and talk show host. But yeah, Body Double is a great one to check out. This particular version is the limited edition version. This isn't available anymore, but you can pick it up in the standard packaging. So if you can get hold of this, this is well worth it because it's got tons of special features as well. So Body Double by Brian De Palma. Oh, and I should also say, before I go on to the next one, all of the indicator titles are spine numbered as well. So you won't be able to make this out on the camera, but this is number 2 in the indicator collection. And I think they're almost nearing 200 now. So they've come quite far in a few years because they put out about 4 titles a month, 4 or 5. So they're really churning them out. Next one I'm going to talk about is The Collector by William Wyler. Now, The Collector is based on a book. Who's the book by again? John Fowles. Yeah, because John Fowles did The Collector, and he also wrote The Magus as well. But The Collector is a film about this guy who basically kidnaps this girl and just keeps her prisoner. But it's all about the psychological relationship between the captive and the captor. And it's really fascinating. A lot of it is kind of set around the house where she's being kept captive. But there are great performances because the guy who's the kidnapper is Terence Stamp. Terence Stamp being one of the best English actors of all time, in my opinion. And it's got Samantha Eggar as well. She's great as the captured girl. And it's very thrilling because you're always on the edge of the seat wanting her to escape, and then, you know, she always kind of gets caught or something gets in her way, and, you know, it's just a lot of conflict. It's a great story. So The Collector is one that I would definitely recommend. The Collector is spine number 70. So there's quite a big distance between that and Body Double. But the next one I've got is Modern Romance. This is the Albert Brooks film. Directed by Albert Brooks and starring Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks, he's a comedic actor, I would say. I find Modern Romance a very funny film. It's kind of in the style of a Woody Allen film. I guess you could kind of compare Albert Brooks' style to Woody Allen. A lot of people know Albert Brooks from being in Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. He plays the guy in the political campaign candidate's office, the guy that really fancies Sybil Shepherd and gets really jealous when De Niro comes in. But yeah, Modern Romance is a great, funny film. And this is number 86. And yeah, it's all about a breakup. So I think that's something that lots of people can relate to, but it's not a typical breakup. It's really funny. So Modern Romance is one to definitely give a go if you're interested. Number 4 in this list is Hardcore, starring George C. Scott, and this is directed by Paul Schrader. Paul Schrader is a really fascinating filmmaker because he started out, first of all, he started out being a film critic, and he used to write these great essays about what he called transcendental cinema, which is the cinema of like Yasujiro Ozu and Robert Bresson and Ingmar Bergman and Tarkovsky and people like that. The kind of cinema he would describe as being transcendental, meaning that it's quite slow, but it pulls the viewer in through that the pace that it sets. And it's called transcendental cinema by him because he says it transcends the art form. It can almost provide something spiritual. And I always found it funny how a lot of Schrader's early career was made doing these he made a lot of these kind of violent films. He wrote Taxi Driver, and he wrote Raging Bull for Scorsese, and he directed Hardcore. And Hardcore is very much in the vein of Taxi Driver, actually. George C. Scott plays a very religious man whose daughter gets kidnapped, and he then has to go into the seedy underworld and rescue his daughter. And he views all sorts of horrible things in the underworld. When I say the underworld, I don't mean like, in Greek mythology. I just mean he has to go to like strip clubs and, find his daughter. And it's very violent in parts. But a great film. Recently I've loved First Reformed by Paul Schrader. And I know he's got a new film coming out, maybe this year, maybe 2020, if not 2021, called The Card Counter, which I'm very interested in. So yeah, my fourth recommendation is Hardcore. This is spine number 14 in the Indicator collection. And then last up, am I saving best for last? No, I wouldn't say that, but this film, I love this film so much. This is Charley Varrick, directed by Don Siegel. Now, Charley Varrick, this is a heist movie. It's a heist action movie starring Walter Matthau. It's a film that when Indicator released this, I didn't have a clue what it was. I had no idea. All I could see on the front of the box is a Siegel film, The Man Who Brought You Dirty Harry, with Clint Eastwood. And yeah, this is a great film. It actually reminds me very much of another Clint Eastwood film, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, directed by Michael Cimino, because that is also a heist film. And much like Charley Varrick, it's a heist film that the heist goes successfully, but then things go wrong along the way. And you kind of know from the start that things are never going to go well for these thieves. But Walter Matthau, he's so charismatic in it. And there are some set pieces in this. On the cover, you can see a plane and guy running away from it. That's very much taken out of North by Northwest by Hitchcock. Again, I think this is spine number 67. I think Charley Varrick is out of print now. I think you can only get this in the standard edition. But yeah, it's such a good, entertaining film. The opening scene is so tense. The bank robbery, it's amazing, and then them getting away from the bank robbery. Yeah, amazing. So if I had to recommend 5 titles, it would be these. Just to recap, it's Body Double, The Collector, Modern Romance, Hardcore, and Charley Varrick. So that kind of wraps up this video. I only mentioned titles, by the way, that were single edition titles because I didn't want to delve into the box sets. I do have a lot of the Indicator box sets. They're like on the top shelf, so you can't really see it in frame. These shelves go up quite a long way. So there is a lot more on these shelves. But they do some great box sets. They've done a load of box sets about films made at Hammer Studios, so horror films, and then some of the non-horror things that they've done as well. They've put out a Samuel Fuller box set, some films he directed and some that he didn't direct but he produced, and they've put out a Bud Bettaker, Randolph Scott Western set, which is that's really good because some of the Westerns in that are just quintessentially American Westerns. So yeah, that's just a little taste of my Indicator collection. I didn't really do much preparation for this video, so sorry if it's a bit haphazard. But yeah, these particular 5 films I really love. And I hope that one day on this channel I'm going to talk about these films in a bit more substance, provide a bit more backing to them. Because I've only talked about them generally because I don't want to give any plot spoilers away. I'd want you to watch these films for the first time and be surprised and thrilled, just like I was. So that's this video. They were not my top 5 Indicator titles, as I kept saying, but just 5 titles that I really loved. and was really surprised at when I bought them. So I'll be back with some more videos very soon. Send in your suggestions for films that you'd like me to talk about, or bits of my collection that you'd like me to talk about, or just if you're after any kind of recommendations, I'll definitely pass those on to you. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.